Obviously, TMI Gifts has provided the kit, so they are our true sponsor. But I also am going to claim that we're also being sponsored by Rosé and Gummy Bears because I'm going to be eating gummy bears and drinking rosé while doing this. But TMI is really the all-star, TMI Gifts. All right, so I'm super honored that they let me make this kit. I'm so excited that you guys have it. It's sold out. And if this goes well, which I'm sure it will, then we'll be doing some more. So what I figured we'd start with is we get the bow just done and out of the way. Sometimes I feel like that's just the best course of action for people, because then it's kind of like on easy street after that, okay? So what I'd like to do is, hey Jerry, is just make the bow 2 different ways. I want to do one like the 10 by 10 way, and then one using the Easy Bow Maker. That way people can pick and choose which one they're comfortable making, okay? So let me spin you over. Don, you needed this. You needed the motivation. I hear you. You kind of can't turn on like wanting to design. I mean, I know there are worse problems in the world, but it's hard. If you're not feeling it, you're just not feeling it. So, but then on the other hand, like when I'm feeling like super creative, I'm like the Kool-Aid man, and I just want to like punch holes in the walls. Like I'm just like so ready to go. I had a day like that last week that I got so much done in like 5 hours. It was more than I had done in like several days combined. All right. So anyways, welcome. And hey, Caroline. All right, so we're going to start off with our basic 10 by 10 bow. And for anybody that has the kit, this is the ribbon that we went with. I absolutely love the kit. We have so many zinnias. I'm like, I hope we can use them all. If not, obviously they're beautiful. We'll use them for something else. But for the purpose of this, we're going to be using this 2.5-inch wired ribbon. Okay, this is from TMI Gifts. And like the 2.5-inch wired, it's just my sweet spot anyways. But this is like really nice material. You know, sometimes you get ribbon, and even if it's wired, it's still kind of like a little flimsy. This is going to do well outside, and this is going to do well just like structure-wise to get like that nice bow that you want. We love our big blooms, right? All right, so I'm going to move the camera. If you get motion sickness, just close your eyes real quick. All right, so we're going to start with our more basic bow. We're not going to call her a basic bee, but you know. Oh my gosh, John is saying it's 110 degrees in California and you don't feel like making fall? Come on. And Melissa, Joanne's is fine. They have their fall stuff on sale. Did you go in person? You and I need to like team up and be like each other's resource for that store. Okay. So to start with our ribbon, what we're going to do is we're always going to place the back side of it down. Sometimes I call it the ugly side, but it's just the back. So we're going to be doing everything in 10-inch increments. Distracting. So it's a pretty simple recipe. All right, so we're going to lay our ribbon down, measure 10 inches, and then we're going to pleat or pinch, whatever word suits your fancy. And then we are going to go right back down on the ruler, measure 10 inches, and we're going to loop this behind. Okay, so now we've got one loop held between our thumb and our pointer finger. Now we're going to twist the ribbon, okay, because we always want that back side down on our ruler. So we're going to twist the ribbon, lay it back down on our ruler, measure 10 inches, and then again, we're going to just carry this up behind that and make another loop. Okay, so right now we have like a figure 8. We're going to twist again because we want to make sure that backside is going down on the ruler. So we're going to measure 10 inches and then again bring that fabric right behind. And then we're going to make an extra set of tails. So what I like to do is I just kind of eyeball this, but this loop's about 20 inches. You definitely do not have to measure this, but if you want to, you can. So I'm just going to make one giant loop, okay? And then I'm going to measure 10 inches and cut. Okay, and now what we're gonna do is you can use either floral wire or you can use a chenille stem, you can use a zip tie, whatever makes your heart happy. You're gonna take it, you're gonna sneak it right under your thumb, and you're gonna flip it over, and then twist it nice and tight, or if it's a chenille stem, nice and tight. If it's a zip tie, again, nice and tight. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this large loop and we're gonna cut it right at the end. Okay, and I know this looks simple, but this girl gets the job done. So, you know, if you're on the newer side to bow making, I think this is a great recipe. And if you wanted, you can even, you know, make this multiple times and stack it if you wanted, okay? So now we're just gonna dovetail the ends. It's just a nice pretty polish to our bow tails. So I'm gonna fold our ribbon in half, okay, so my open edges are out. Without losing a finger, I'm gonna cut up at an angle. And I'm just gonna repeat that for all 4 tails. This is also available just on my YouTube channel, so if you know you need to redo your bow or something, don't stress. The instructions are there, and I can send you a link if you can't find them, but it's just, you know, a basic bow recipe. All right, so this is what our more basic bow looks like, and it wouldn't be alive if a dog didn't pop off. Okay, so this is our basic one. Now we're gonna do one with our Easy Bow Maker. And the reason why I wanted to do a bigger bow is because when I looked at the materials, we have a very large welcome sign that I love, and I wanted it to kind of be balanced. So either one is gonna work, I promise you, but I thought this would be fun too. All right, so starting with our Easy Bow Maker, okay, we are going to slide our ribbon in between the dowels, and I'm not gonna leave a crazy long tail, so it's probably, I don't know, probably like 10 inches-ish. All right, and once it goes through the dowels, we make sure it's nice and tightly in there. And we're gonna give this a nice crisp twist, okay? So now we're kind of doing the opposite. The good looking part of our ribbon is face down on our Easy Bow Maker. So I'm gonna start with 5-inch loops. And what I like to do just to make sure that they're kind of accurate is when I hit the 5-inch mark, this is what I love about Easy Bow Makers, is everything literally is like laid out for you. I actually like to just kind of, you know, push it down so that it's accurate. It's not even in a loop form. Okay, I'm gonna bring it back through the dowels. And when it goes back through, we're gonna twist. Okay, we have our pretty side of the ribbon facing up. And I'm gonna measure 5 inches. And let's do this, let's do this a total of 6 loops, okay? So let me see. All right. Oh, Penny is saying it's 96 in Tennessee. We actually had a decent day in New Hampshire, so I cannot squawk. Not today anyways. All right, so I'm going through on each side, and I'm just repeating that step. When we get through the dowel, I flip my ribbon over, and it's gotta be, if we do a nice, tight little crisp flip there, that way we don't have this like bulky middle part to our bow. And there is no cure for this. I've tried so many things, but as Amy Hoffman says, if you really don't want your ribbon to get like tangled up, just drop it on the floor. So, okay, so 5 inches again. And then I'm gonna twist. 5 inches again. Twist. All right, so this is our 6th loop. Now, we're not done yet. Let us switch and start doing some, let's do 4 4-inch loops. All right, I am gonna channel my inner Amy. Drop her into the floor. There's no dogs around to attack that. All right, so starting on our left side, we are going to measure 4 inches. we go, and I'm just kind of flattening it as I go. Twisting it once it gets to the other side. Okay, and again, looking for the 4-inch mark. All right. And once you measure it right the first time, you don't need to keep measuring it because you just need to follow the other loops that you've done. Yeah. This is loop number 3. Oh, and I forgot to do the tails. Maggie, I think you usually remind me. Maggie and Tanisha are always like, the tails, because I like to do a set underneath first. And geez, I forgot again. Okay, so now we have 4 of the 4-inch loops. Now we're going to make what we call, you know what, actually, I'm going to trim this here. Yes, okay, there's the solution. All right, and starting again, we're just going to make that one like juicy button in the middle. So I'm going to slide my fabric through, just like we started from the beginning. So my tail is going down this side. We're going to twist, and then I don't really measure this. It's probably about like 3 or 4 inches. All right, and then I'm going to cut again. So we've got our 4 tails. And let me see, I'm going to grab my floral wire. Again, chenille stem, zip ties, any of those things are perfect for this. What I like about the Easy Bow Maker is just that if your hands get tired, if they kind of get like arthritic at some point, if you're doing a lot of designing, it just gives them like a break instead of having to hold everything. All right, so before I take this off the Bow Maker, I'm going to fan out my loops. I just think it's easier because once you kind of secure this, it's just not as malleable. That's just my take. I mean, whatever. I have a lot of very talented bow makers on this call, so whatever you're comfortable with, this is just what I like to do. And what I like about crafting is I feel like we all find our own way to get things done. Like, there is no right or wrong answer to things, except when I do things wrong. But in general, like, we all find our own unique way to get to whatever our vision is. All right, so I'm going to carefully slide this off. You know what, and actually I'm going to use a zip tie. All right, and making sure that I'm getting the zip tie exactly where that crease was from the dowels. I should have probably picked, well, it's not too late. I'm going to pick a white zip tie just so it's not as noticeable. Bold move, Webster. Holding this extra long. Okay, so I'm putting the zip tie right over where that indentation is, because that indicates to me that that is the middle of our bow. Now, if something looks off, like this guy, I think I did it a little off sides, because these guys are longer. So hold on. Let me fix it now. I just need to move that over a little bit. I shouldn't have tightened the zip tie until I knew I was in the right spot. But okay. Take 2. This all looking right. All right, yes, that's looking better to me. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it. All right, and then let's go and let's do our dovetailing. So just like we did the first time, we're going to just go through and take each tail, fold it in half so I have the open edges facing this way, cutting up at an angle. And if you do it and you realize that instead of having a triangle cut out, you have one going down this way, it just means that you did it backwards. All you need to do is just flip it around. Not a big deal. I do it all the time. All right, so I'm going to put mine on a floral pick. So I'm just going to take a bit of wire just so I have something to grab onto that floral pick with. So I'm just going to put my wire on it, twist it nice and tight, grab my floral pick. All right, and then using the wire that I just attached. So if you're using a chenille stem, you're golden, but with a zip tie, there's not a great way to secure it. So I'm gonna take my, let's see, knowing that this is more the bottom, I'm gonna take my floral pick, put it right here up towards the top, and then I'm just gonna wrap the more heavy duty wire around this. I know it's got a little copper wire on it, like if you have floral picks, but that's kind of more for live florals. It's not really durable enough to hold our faux florals or our faux anythings. All right, so now I'm gonna go through and I'm just gonna start fluffing this up. And again, this is where good ribbon makes or breaks, because this is going to fluff up very nicely. And as we're designing, we're going to end up smushing this thing so many times, but because it's good quality, in the end, it is still going to pop back up into place the way we want it. Okay. So we have done our bow, whether we did it with the 3 loops or, don't make me do the math, that's 11 loops. Whichever way you decided to do it, we have our bow ready to go. So let's move over to our easel. Let's see. All right, so first of all, let's go up here. First of all, when getting a grapevine from TMI Gifts, this thing is beautiful. It's like no cleanup necessary. I mean, if I wanted to like snap a branch off or something, that's like very minor stuff. I mean, I think we've all seen certain places that have, you know, a lot. One, they're very like filled with random decomposing like leaves and pine cones. They're not symmetrical. They're oval. They're not full. All of those things. This girl is like ready to go. So I like to put loops on mine just so my customers know kind of just a suggestion of where to hang their wreath. Okay, so I'm going to take my grapevine wire. I'm going to take it through one of the thickest pieces of the grapevine, and I'm just going to twist the ends. Okay, this is again just to make a hook. Okay, and then I'm just going to slide it through so that we have our nice rounded part up top. And because the grapevine wire does its job, mechanically it looks exactly like the grapevine, I'm just going to mark it with a bow just so I can find it as we're going. Okay, so now we have our wreath ready to go. Okay, now I'm going to be using my Surebonder glue pot for this. I mean, you can use whatever you want. You can use a kitchen skillet. You know, you can use your glue gun. To me, this is just the most like hands-free way of doing it, but that's just what works for me. Again, like I feel like we all find our own way to get to the same thing. Okay, so yep. Others that have, hey Melissa, other people who have this kit are saying the exact same thing. The grapevine is beautiful. And can I say for the name I won't say, I actually accumulated 15 of those really poorly made grapevine wreaths, and I shipped them back the other day. And it felt so good because I'm like, why am I going to be stuck with that? That's not what I ordered. So TMI, they are definitely worth it. These are very, very beautifully made, always clean. Again, like if you wanted to nitpick, which, you know, I love to nitpick, but if you wanted to clean some of these things up, you can, but it's super, super minor. All right, so I'm going to take my bow that's on a floral pick, and I'm just going to put this right around like the middle. This is exciting for me because I have been waiting to do fall. I wanted to do this one as my first one. And so I've been so excited to do it. And thank goodness TMI Gifts that you sent out an email. Yesterday, another designer, a great designer, made this beautiful Halloween wreath. But I totally thought yesterday was Wednesday, and I would have done it at the same time if I hadn't seen the email. So I'm like, thank goodness. Okay. So normally I would do a sign last. However, this sign is very full, and I love this. Let me see what the price list is on this. Because even though the wreath kits are gone, some of the materials are still available, and this was just such a great buy. Okay, so let me see. This sign is $6.95. Like, hello. It's beautifully made, and it's gorgeous. So this is like a steal to me. All right, so I was asking for feedback around what type of hole punch to use, because I've bought hole punches before, like that are for jewelry kits, and they're just way too small, and then I have to keep punching it and it gets a little messy. So if you don't have a hole punch with you, okay, all you need to do is you could take wire, you could take a zip tie, chenille stem, and you can use this part, okay, and you could feed it through. So I'm going to show you both ways. So you have your sign, you have your zip tie. I like to use brown just because it blends in. You could take it and just feed it through your grapevine, like so, and just tie it tight. So I wanted to make sure I secured it on the top and the bottom. So we're going to go with this amazing cutter that Dawn recommended. Amazing. Let me find it. I don't know how I could lose this thing. She's big and she's beautiful. Okay. So Dawn had me order this off of Amazon, and I was like, yes, because she's gorgeous. And then I looked at the price tag, and I'm like, do I want to spend, I think, $35 on a hole punch? But she reassured me, and she was 1,000,000% right. This one makes 3 different size holes, okay? So the one up here, it's kind of on the small side. And let's see. And these guys on the sides, they're also hole punchers, whatever you want to say. So let me just see. Okay, I wasn't messing with that before, but this is 1/8. Oh, gosh, don't make me do math. 1/8, 3/16. Okay, I think we're going to try the 1/8. So if you have a hole punch, I suggest we do the top and the bottom. So you know this is live because I haven't done it before. So I'm going to take what I think is the larger of the 2 holes, and I am going to do it kind of a little bit below the stem because I feel we could maybe have some greenery or something to cover that up. Okay, that came out beautiful, but that actually wasn't the bigger of the 2 holes. So let me flip it around. That was so easy the first time, but me lining this up a second time is... Oh, here we go. Okay. All right, so we have a hole up here, and then I'm going to go down right to the bottom, and I'm going to punch another hole, and I'm going to go on the lower side. Look at that. Okay, that was the one I was supposed to use the first time. That is perfect for zip ties. So I'm going to take my brown zip ties. I'm going to put one up top, and I'm going to put one on the bottom. Dawn, awesome recommendation. Thank you. So I'm going to have this hanging off a bit, and let me just make sure you can see. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I like it kind of at a tilt, and it's kind of going like opposite of our bow, whether it's a big bow or a small bow. I'm going to feed this through. And you can just wrap it literally like around the entire wreath if you want. I like to feed it through just so it's hidden, but if it becomes like a hassle or you just aren't concerned about it, then you can literally just go on either side. Okay, so once I have my first one on, I'm just going to loosely zip tie this because I'm not 100% married to where the the placement is, and I want to have options. All right, so I've got my first one in loosely, and then we're going to take our second one. See, we have lots of wiggle room up here. I'm going to take my second one and I'm going to feed it through the lower half of our wreath. And I'm going to feed it through. I'm liking it on the higher side, so I just want to make sure that's where I'm securing it. All right, so now that I'm feeling good about the placement, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tighten our top zip tie. And I'm not really worried. I know right now we can see that zip tie, but we're going to be able to cover that up with some of our like fall themed greenery. Let me know how you guys are doing with the kit, how yours is going so far, if you're liking the materials, if I'm going too fast, too slow. You know you can call me out. Okay, so right now we have a lot taking up our wreath, and we haven't even started with our materials, our like main materials, which is great. Leslie, how are you? So glad you could join us. All right, so the first thing that we're going to be working with are these. They are like pine sprays. Hold on, I can get you something more specific than that. Let's see. So this is a full harvest spray. Normally $13, they're only $6.50. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna just spread out. There we go. We're just gonna spread out our branches, okay? This stuff is all very malleable, so we wanna get the most bang for our buck with these items. So we don't wanna just leave it, you know, like this. I mean, you can if you want like something super concentrated, but for the purpose of this, I think we wanna branch out, pun intended, and have things kind of moved out a little bit. Now I'm gonna use zip ties for this. I zip tie anything I can because anything I zip tie is gonna outlive me. So I'm gonna cut this at the thinner part here and I'm gonna zip tie. You can definitely just glue it right in. Again, I'm just like, I just love my zip ties. So now we're gonna go above the bow, okay? And I don't wanna lose our pine cones in this. Let's see. So I just want to make sure that they're hovering above. Okay. Now I'm going to take my zip tie and I'm going to secure this in. Again, if you're using glue, you just dip it in glue. And I have not made this wreath yet, so I'm making it just like you are. So there might be changes that happen along the way. We'll see. All right. I am actually going to just trim this middle piece. It's just a little bit on the longer side. So I just want to take this down a notch. So I just clip that middle piece. You can do whatever you feel best. I just think that mine is going a little bit too far out. So I'm just going to dip this in and place it over here. And this video will be available like on replay on the channel. So if I do something too quick or you miss something, then we can always just go back to the video. All right, now very OCD. So if I do something once, I'm going to do it twice. So now we're going to do this again. We're going to have this one go upside down. And if you're looking for just like a fast recipe, like say you have a craft show coming up or you really need to fill your Etsy shop up, having things like these sprays are great because literally, I mean, if like move the bow out of the way, if you stack these like top to bottom, you've already got your wreath like halfway done. So, I mean, it just lays out such a great structure. So again, I'm going to just cut this where it thins out a little bit. I'm just going to spread my branches. I'm going to clip this one. This is the tallest. No, wait. That's not it. I'm going to be clipping this side one, okay? Again, it's whatever you feel looks the best, but that's what I'm going to be clipping. Now I'm going to go up and underneath the bow. Again, I don't want to lose my pine cones. I want them just gently nuzzling. And then I'm going to take my zip tie. I'm just going to go ahead and secure that. And you know what? I totally did snip the wrong one, but like this is the beauty of faux florals is anything that you like cut too short or you do too long, like everything is fixable, which is like the beauty of it. So what I am going to do is I'm going to go and trim this now that I see the error of my ways. And I'm just going to plug these two branches back in. Okay, one's going to go right here. And then this one is going to go off to the side a little bit. If you have some of the foliage that's in the way and that's going to interfere with you inserting it in the grapevine, it's okay to just pull it off. Okay, so I just pulled one little branch off. I hate to waste, but all right, and then we're going to have this go off to the side. Okay, so as we're doing this, this bow is going to get demolished and revived, demolished, revived. So I'm just going to try and leave it alone for now. Okay. Next, we are going to be working with these guys. And I actually, not actually, but I love these. So these orange leaf sprays are not even $4 a piece. Okay, and there's so much we can get out of these. So just like I like to do with the ficus, I like to just kind of divide everything up. So I'm going to take each of these branches and I'm going to clip them. So we're going to get 3 pieces off of each of these. You always want to get the most, you know, again, bang for your buck. These materials can really add up. So you want to make them work for you, not the other way around. So I'm just clipping each of the 3, okay, right at the base. And if you are interested in some of these things and you didn't get the kit, then I will definitely put the SKU numbers in the description at the end. Okay, for a tall piece. Okay, so I'm just giving them a little bit of stem. And I'm going to break down all 4 of these. So for this kit to be, I think it was like $86 before the code. To get a whole kit for $68 is such a steal. I cannot say it enough. Like, I think it's great. You know, it reminds me of, and I said this when we did the unboxing, like, it's like a HelloFresh. It's like everything's already laid out for you. There might be ingredients that you wouldn't have put together, but like those steps have already been done, and then you just get to enjoy the process. So hopefully you like what I picked out. Love some feedback on it, and I'll show you at the very end. I ordered again from TMI because every time I go on their site, there's like something different. So I'll show you what I got. I actually haven't opened it yet, but I believe it had like those, I think it had something like sparkly in it. All right, So now I'm just taking my fourth one and breaking it down. You get a lot out of these. Okay, so this is basically going to be like our filler bush. And what I'm going to do is starting with the tallest piece in the middle. Okay, are we back? Okay, hopefully we're back. I don't know if you guys know like the things at hair salons where they have like the little vacuum in the wall that you can like, you know, brush all the hair into. I have that for my workshop, and Bruno discovered it today and was messing with it. So like it's been turning off and on intermittently like it's possessed. So hopefully it's done. Okay, so I'm going to take my first tall piece of our orange filler bush, dipping it in my Surebonder, and then I'm going to have this go in between the pine cones. I do not want to lose that detail. Okay. And then I'm going to repeat. I'm going to take again one of the taller pieces. There we go. And I'm going to go underneath and slide it in between the pine cones. When I'm working on the bottom half of my wreath, I like to just slide it upward. I think there's a few benefits. I think one, you're going in the same direction. You want the flow to go a certain way. But also, you know, they use grapevines because they're grippy. And so we're actually taking advantage of its grippiness by having it go like against the grain kind of the grapevine. All right. Now let's go to one of our smaller pieces. We don't have to be super specific about this, but we want to make sure that we don't ignore around our bow. Like sometimes like I get too focused on all this, but really like the focal point of this aside from the sign is this bow. So I'm going to take my first piece, I'm going to dip it in my glue, and I'm going to go behind my bow and just have it going in an upward direction. And I know my bow looks like janky right now, so don't judge it. It will be better. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to repeat that because we want to frame out our bow nicely. So going at an upward angle, if you can, we're going to put in our second piece of filler. And I think we're going to leave it at that for now. All right. Now let's pepper in some more of our filler bush. So I'm going to grab the next two tall pieces of this. Okay, and let me just think. So everything's very malleable, so we kind of move things around. So I'm going to just give this like a nice little bend. And I'm going to slide it behind our initial floral leaves. So what we're doing is we're creating like dimension because there's different layers. So we have our leaves on the top, and then we have our filler like on the top and the bottom. So it's nice to like break those up and create that visual interest. So I put my first piece up here. So let's go down and repeat. Okay, I'm going to give this a little bend because I want it to follow the natural curve of our grapevine. I keep working in flip-flops and I'm just like petrified of what's going to happen when glue drops on me. You should block your ears if it happens. All right, so we're going to put one piece like that. And so now, I don't know about you, but I have 6 pieces left. So let's just keep going a little bit and again, break up some of this pick. So I'm going to take one piece and put it right in this top corner. And everyone's are going to come out different. Everybody's placement's going to be different. You know, the grapevine kind of drives some of that. So wherever you see fit, if you feel like it's too layered with just the same type of foliage, I would say to slide it either above or in between it. I love how malleable this all is without like worrying about it breaking. All right. So I'm going to put the rest aside for now. How are my folks with the kit doing? Oh, you know what? I never rejoined. Hold on. I think I messed something up when I lost. There we go. When I lost the connection, I messed something up. Okay. So look how like fast this is filling out. All right, so we're gonna go with our fabric pumpkins next. We have so many zinnia to use. I'm like so excited about it, but I want these to also be, you know, a focal point. So what we can do is there's two options. One is to leave them together, and the other is to separate them. And I'm gonna vote to separate them. I can feel, okay, so you can just rip these apart. These are made with really heavy duty wire. Not mad about that at all. So let's take both of our, fabric pumpkins and let's just divide them up, okay? And these pumpkins, these pumpkin sprays are $4.95 each, which is great. Do I have my Lauren and Kate on this call? I have some of my local friends that I believe are doing this with me. TMI Gifts is in the house. Verlene, hello, hello. All right, so starting with our larger of the two. Nope, I lied. We're gonna start with the smaller of the two cloth pumpkins. All right, so we don't want to cover up our pine cone. We don't want to cover up some of those details. So let's start. Oh my gosh, I know. Thank goodness women can change their minds all the time. We're going back with the bigger one, okay? So I'm gonna take the larger of the fabric pumpkins. I'm gonna go right kind of in this top corner. And place my first one in, and I want to make sure this has a prominent position. Okay, this is like one of the stars of this show. It coordinates with the bow. It ties in all of these colors, like our blue pumpkins, our orange. Okay, so we're going to put that one just above our bow, facing a little bit inward. Now I'm going to take the smaller of the two, and I'm going to go over, let's do like around here. Oh my gosh, these are so cute. These pumpkins are so cute. We have not even gotten to the floral aspect of this, and this wreath is so filled out. All right, now we're going to go and repeat. So we don't want to block our pine cones, so I'm going to take the larger of the two. And I'm going to just mirror that placement. So we're going in this bottom corner. And I'm not having it go too far in because I don't want it to get lost. So it's a couple inches off the base. I'd say it's maybe like between like 2 and probably like 3 inches. Okay. All right, and then we're just going to repeat. And have this mirrored with the placement. And the smaller one's kind of more on the outer edges. Okay. Already, like, so much going on, and we have so much more to put into this wreath. Amazing. So let's grab one of our zinnia bushes. So these zinnia bushes, they have 10 stems to each of them. So maybe I should have just done one. I don't know. You know, more is more with me. So I went with 2. But I have a feeling we might have some extra. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the leaves up. Okay. And what I like about these zinnia is I love the color of these. Like, it's unique. Like that chartreuse green, it just makes my heart sing, and it really pops against a lot of other colors. So even though in some ways right now it's kind of blending, we're going to be going in with a more like burnt orange, and I think that they're going to play off of each other really nicely. All right, so I'm just going to push the leaves up gently. We know those wreath making hands are strong. We do not want to pop the heads off of these beauties, so I'm just going to slowly slide the foliage up. And then I'm going to start trimming. So for now, I'm going to leave like about 4 inches on these, okay? So they're all different lengths, so just eyeball it. It's definitely not a science. So we can always trim any excess at the end. This is such a good value. And I know that one of our members, one that has restraint, purchased the zinnias specifically and then is using them with other supplies. So absolutely, like these will pair with so many beautiful things. All right. So once we have our 10 cut, we're going to work in a pattern. I love patterns because they kind of tell you where to go next. Okay, so let's start. Maggie's doing good. Okay, Penny didn't get the kit, but just watching. That's cool. And okay, Amy's liking the pics as well. All right, awesome. Thank you guys for the feedback. All right, so these blooms are pretty much the same size, I believe. I don't think if they're different, it's not that specific. So let's start in this top corner. And let me see. All right, so I'm going to start, let's make sure you guys can see. Top corner, I'm going to go behind our pine cone and put our first floral in. And then I'm going to go below and I'm going to repeat that. So the one below, it's going to get a little bit covered up by our tails, but that's okay. We can't also leave under there empty because the tails can always shift and we want that consistency. So there you go. And who knows, she might just peek out anyways. All right, so above the bow, below the bow. Those are our first 2 florals. Now we are going to go a little bit higher up in the corner, right here. Dip this in glue. Okay, and this I'm leaving like way off the base. Okay, so that's like a good almost 3.5 inches. I'm gonna give it a little tilt. Whenever we look at flowers in nature, they always grow, like their heads turn to grow towards the sun, and I always think that's so fun to just replicate when we're working with permanent botanicals, because that's kind of the thing is we want to recreate that beauty and like our flowers in like the most perfect state. And so to me, a little head tilt is just a nice like nod, pun intended, yes, I know, to that though. Okay, so we're going to repeat. And again, you can see like these two, this falls in between the pumpkins, same thing below, okay, because we're going step by step, just mirroring. Now we're going to put one in between our pumpkins, but facing inside, okay, into the center of the grapevine, and then we're going to repeat. So I'm giving this just like a little bend as we go. All right, and then we're going to continue on. So I'm going to start on this top corner. Give have a little bend. And then we're going to go underneath and repeat. All right, so right now we've covered up our hole with the zip tie, or the zip tie that we use to secure our wreath. And I'm actually going to take some of our not our greens, but our filler, and I'm going to fill this out so that we're actually going to kind of like enclose the sign. So I have 4 pieces to do that with. And if we have to get creative and pull off of this, we definitely can. Let me just take my first piece of our orange filler bush, put it on top here. Oh, I love the movement of this. Gorgeous. All right, I'm going to take one more piece. Go over here. So we have this all trailing down. Okay, I know it's not broken up yet, but we do have another filler to go. And then I'm going to take my last piece and I'm going to put it under here just so we have that consistency. Gotta get this stuff before the glue dries quick. Okay, so what I'm going to do just to break up how solid that is I am going to take one of these pieces from our original pick and I'm going to cut it. I'm just trying to decide which one I want to take. I think I'm going to take from the top. Take it from a place where you feel like you can spare it. So actually, I'm going to take a small piece. Okay, so I'm just taking like a little, kind of like a nubbin guy of this. I'm going to dip this in. And just break this up. And then I had a little piece from earlier that I had to cut off because it was going to interfere with putting it into the wreath. Use that as well. Okay. How are we looking? This thing filled up quick. All right, so going back to our zinnias, I am going to add one up top facing down. And then I'm going to repeat that down below. And then I'm just going to take the smaller one and have it be the one trailing off. So just like, I like to always take a step back because sometimes I go too far and then I realize something's like super wonky. So I am going to reposition this. I'm going to give it a better bend. And have it go a little bit further down. Like so. Okay. All right, I'm going to go behind our bow up top without blocking our pine cones. I'm going to put one of our zinnias in. I'm going to have this one kind of facing outward. I don't know what the dogs are doing upstairs, but it like legit sounds like WWE up there. Glad I'm down here. All right, and now cutting into our second bush, let's repeat that. And we don't necessarily have to clip the whole thing right now, but let's at least get some of it off, some of it snipped. Hello, Rita. All right, Amy says we're looking good. Amy, I want to see what you did for your bow. Did you just do the one, or did you go all Hoffman on it and do a bunch of like different, you know, patterns and sizes? I always put you on the spot, Amy. You probably wish you had like a more forgettable name, but I always know when you're on. You've been there from the beginning. I always appreciate you. All right, so now I'm going to put my second in, and I'm going to go upward at an angle. And we're just kind of filling in some of that space around our bow. All right, let's move on to our, these are like one of my favorites. I said this on the live unboxing, like I would totally dye my hair this color. It is gorgeous. It's kind of Steve colored, kind of not. I love it though. So this is our orange leaf spray, which means before this was actually the wild yellow grass, which is $4.95. Okay, so these are $3.95, and let's take a minute to just break these down. So these are pushers, I believe. Hold on. Nope, I might be lying. Okay, these are pushers, but I'm only going to push it up just enough so that we're not losing them when we're putting them into our grapevine base. Okay, so I'm just sliding them like up like one little level. Let's just go and repeat. And if you don't want to do this because, okay, that actually worked out, but I was going to say if it feels like you're going to like pop the head off, then don't do it. Just give these a gentle little nudge. Okay, and then I'm going to cut these all off at the base. So many things we can do with these. All right, our last one, and then let's break down our second one. And then we'll pepper these throughout our design. Amy's just enjoying us ladies tonight. I mean, there's like so many layers of fun crafting. There's like crafting or designing. Then there's designing with friends. Then there's designing with wine. Then there's designing with wine and gummy bears, which is where we're at tonight. So I'm not sure if it can get any better. I really don't. Split these all up, and then I'm just going to go ahead and cut these all at the base, okay? So if you don't have, if you're like struggling with your wire cutters, okay, I use these. These are Greenlee, and they're actually like cable cutters. It's great to have tools that do the work for you. Like my hands get really tired if I've been like designing all day. So it's nice to have something that kind of like takes the bulk of the work off of you. Oh goodness, Bruno is outside. All right. So I have just a couple random pieces of our grass, our wild grass. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put a little around my bow. Really, nothing has to go to waste. If you can get it in the glue and get it into your grapevine, then this is a product I wouldn't waste. little piece left. Slide that right in. Okay. Now let's get to these beauties. So the first thing I want to do before, because I know I never want to block this with my big head. So we want to make sure that we're going to cover up where we put the zip tie. So I'm going to make sure that we do that first, or I'm going to do that first. Doesn't totally cover it, so we can also just take like a piece of the leaf and glue that on. Hello, Madison. Between you and Amy, you've got everybody, everybody's shopping. All right, so I just dipped this in glue. I'm just gonna put this like so. I don't want to take away from the stem. I just want to cover up a little bit. But you can do however you see fit. I honestly don't know what makes it go off. Sorry guys, one sec. Okay, so now we're gonna go in and we're gonna start filling in any of those areas that we see look a little bit sparse, okay? And the beauty of this, again, when we're talking about patterns, is it's kind of spell it out for us. So right now, I see glaring areas that are bare. I see right here, I see right here, I see around my bow and down here. Nothing's possessed. So I'm gonna start peppering these in to places that look bare. And I'm going to try and get that vacuum with that. I mean, can we blame a puppy for messing with that? I could. All right, starting in the top corner, then I'm going to repeat down below. So much visual interest in this. Like, there's so much detail. These are so beautiful. Again, if you see my hair colored this way, that means I love them. Maybe a little too much. See, I want to go, let's start up above our bow. I don't want to block the zinnia. I don't really want either one of them to block each other. I want them to play off of each other. And then I'm going to repeat under the bow. These have little thin stems, so they go in pretty easy. All right, and then we're going to start moving our way through, just making sure we're consistent with our foliage. And this, I'm sure, like I said before, is going to be different for everybody because everyone's grapevines have different like openings, and so there's just different placements. One up top, we'll repeat down below. So if you have this kit, please let me know what your favorite material was. Is it the pumpkins? Is it the grapevine? Is it the pine cone spray? Let me know, because these are all just really well valued materials and the quality is fantastic. So, and just so you know that the code CARA20, it remains active. So, you know your girl keeps using it. But yeah, every time I go on there, I kind of find like something, whether it's a different ribbon, different, you know, foliage, any of those things. So if you use the code CARA20, you save 20%. And the prices are already great, so with the code, it just kind of makes it hard to resist. Okay, I'm just taking a step back. It's like whenever you take a step back, your perspective changes. So I'm just seeing like, I want to spread some of this out a bit. One of the benefits of having very malleable materials, you can move it around and not have to worry about anything falling apart. All right, I'm on my last piece here. I'm going to go down below for it. All right, so we still have almost an entire Zinnia Bush to go. So that might have been a little bit overly ambitious to order 2 of them. We maybe could have gotten by with 1. But right now, if you see any gaps, like I have a couple that I want to fill with the zinnia. So I would just cut them and plug them in as needed. Wherever you see like that hole that could use a little bit of a pop of green. Okay. And we can also put flowers back to back, which is kind of like a nice touch. Just gives you that like concentrated look in certain areas. Hey Dee in Canada, how are you? Thanks for hopping on with us. All right, so right now I'm just going around, and any place that I feel like is lacking a little bit of color, I'm plugging in my zinnias. And we actually will come close to using these up. I will say they go a very, very long way though. Especially for the price, because what did I say they were? Zinnias. Yeah, the zinnias are $5 each, and there's 10 stems on them. So if you're looking for like that perfect fall floral, you know, it kind of gets to be that in-between time where you're not really doing like our, you know, like our pinks and our purples necessarily. Like this is a great transitional floral. Yeah, what is the weather like in Canada? I'm always so curious. All right, so I'm going to put one more flower in, and then I think I'm going to call it because I don't want to overdo it. I know that wouldn't be the first time I've done that, but I think just moving some of these things around. We could use another one right here. So pretty. So once you feel like you have all of your materials in place, now you can fluff your bow kind of, not for the final time. I'm sure there'll be more times you're going to want to fluff it, but give it a nice fluff. See where everything is kind of landing. I like to make sure that the tails are all kind of spread out. And I dropped some glue on this before. I wanted to mention it. When you drop glue on something, whether it's like, you know, ribbon or foliage, it's best to just let it dry because it's far more likely that you can peel it off. And even if there's like a little bit of residue, you can take your hair dryer and just kind of warm it up a little bit and get the rest off. But for the most part, like it's going to just come off. Like this has like, it had a string on it. It came right off. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm like so ecstatic to do fall. You know, my favorite season is always the next season, but I will say I do have like a special place for fall. It's just that like cozy, loving feeling, even though it's, you know, 96 degrees where Penny is, it's 100 and something where someone else is. All right. So here is our finished product. I am going to clean up the back. And so when I'm cleaning up the back, I'm just trimming any of the zip ties. And then any of the stems that are poking through, just because they're going to scratch doors. So what I like to do is snip them off. But as I'm doing that, the pieces that I'm snipping off, they're typically the parts that actually have the glue on them. So I like to go back and add some glue. So I'm not going to clean this whole thing up, but I'm just going to show you the method I use. Yeah, Madison's saying you have issues with stop, like knowing when to stop. I know, I'm the same way. And sometimes it's best to just like walk away. Or, you know, again, when we're working like so up close to something, it's not always easy to assess where the balance is. Like, cause like when I'm doing this, I'm trying not to block one side of the wreath. So sometimes when I go and take like my photos afterwards, I'm like, ugh, and I have to just tweak things then. So, you know, you trust your instincts. Okay. So this guy, this is my large Larry. He is very hot. But this is a battery operated Surebonder, and I tried to use him the other day, but I didn't let him heat up enough. And what I like is, like, there's a time and a place for everything, so I would not use this on like an arrangement or somewhere where I need to get into tight spaces. But when it comes to just covering up the back of a grapevine, he works pretty well. But Lord help you if this glue falls on you, because it is hot. All right. So we have, and I just like to tap this on without burning my hand. So here's our final fall wreath. And holy cow, for $68 in product, like we have a gorgeous wreath that you can definitely sell well above 100 for sure. You know, whatever your pricing is that you're comfortable with, but this is a very large wreath. We started off on an 18-inch base, and it's probably measuring closer to like 22, 24 inches. And look how full it is. Like the sign just jumps, like talk about curb appeal, all those things. So I just want to say first, thank you to Lori and Tiffany for giving me this opportunity because, you know, I really wanted to make a kit. And thank you guys for jumping on and designing with me. Thank you for everybody who bought the kit or even just coming and hanging out because it just makes it that much more fun. And if you are interested in buying anything from TMI, you can use the code CARA20. But I did want to open up whatever I got in my last order. So, not related to the tutorial, but I figured we all love a good unboxing. So, oh, it's so funny because I forget what I bought until obviously I go in there. So, oh my goodness. Hold on. Holy cow. Oh my gosh, I bought these for the berries and I thought it was just berries. Look at these things. Oh my gosh. I don't know where the sales slip is, but these things are awesome. And oh my gosh, I thought it was gonna be like this small thing. It's like an unripened squash or a gourd, and then it's got these beautiful berries. I know like in the past I've had these berries at Hobby Lobby, but this is like a whole thing. I mean, we've got all of these different textures. We've got like some maybe like heather. We've got some ivy-like leaves. The shepherds are like battling. I don't know if you can see them outside. Sorry. We've got different color foliage. These are amazing. Let me just read the SKU. I shouldn't have offered because I'm blind. But it's called the Harvest Gourd Berry Sage, I think. So, okay. I actually shouldn't have even told you because I think I want to buy more of these before anybody else grabs them. The other thing with these is they're all on separate stems. So if you want to break them up, okay, because I can just see at the bottom, you could totally separate all of these items. Okay, so that is awesome. Okay. So I got 4 of these, but like these totally exceeded my expectations, like above and beyond. I know. Carol is saying that's so pretty. Maggie had so much fun. I did too. Maggie, I think we will. I think we're going to be doing another one. I will pray to the TMI gift gods that we will be able to because I love doing this. I really do. And I'm all for like getting feedback on things that you guys are interested in doing. So let me just finish. So I was clearly in a ribbon state. I swore I wasn't going to buy any ribbon. I know we all swear it, but let me just show you what I got. Because their ribbon is different every time I look. So, like, hello, candy corn vibes. And then the back side of it is just a solid orange. This is gorgeous. So I can provide SKUs. This plaid, I almost put this in the kit. I was like so torn, but this is like so traditional and beautiful. And when you're looking at things like this, like they pair so well together because it's picking up on like that burnt orange, the like burgundy or maroon red and the green, like all of that stuff. Oh, yes, I've been waiting for her. So last winter I was all into bronze and baubles. And I have to find the price on this because it was so inexpensive that I purchased it now. I might use it for fall. You definitely can use it for fall. But I was also thinking, again, to go with like those bronze bauble colors. This is gorgeous. It was very inexpensive. Then I got this. It says it's brown. Yeah, I guess it is. So similar. It's almost like a goldish brown. Like if you are somebody who likes to layer the different ribbons, which I know, again, so many talented wreath makers are in this group, are on these lives. This would go so well. All right. And then I got this because I have some like things in my mind for like some fall fancy stuff. And so this spoke to me, and it's like nice, thick quality. It's got some glitter on it. So this would be also beautiful for just like if you're doing indoor arrangements. This one's so cute. I mean, I know I can say it about every single ribbon, but like for real, this is so nice. Let me see. So this has a little bit of sparkle to it, but it also has the blue, which is really popular in fall, like mixing that blue and orange combo. So if you were on the fence about this, like don't be, like this is definitely worth it. And it looks so sparkly in person. I don't even think like it's not doing it justice right now to see just how much sparkle is on here, but this is beautiful, super thick. And then this one, I'm gonna need some help from you guys with the layering, but I could not resist. Out of my wheelhouse, but I'm gonna figure it out because this is gorgeous. Okay, so 1.5 inch wired. It also had this in like a baby blue with the white pumpkins. Oof, I might have to go back and get that. So yeah, I was trying to find something that is going to pair with this. So I'm all ears as always with you guys when it comes to like these bows, but this stuff is just gorgeous. So again, I want to thank TMI. I want to thank you guys for like tuning in and designing with me. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. I hope everybody has a happy and safe 4th of July and that you're off the rest of the week if possible, just sitting back and enjoying our freedom. All right, good night, guys.